20. Most shocking black actor deaths. Some deaths in the entertainment world don't just make headlines, they stop us in our tracks. From chart-topping superstars to rising talents with limitless potential, the sudden loss of these black actors sent shockwaves through music, film, and sports. Their stories are filled with triumph, heartbreak, and unanswered questions that still haunt fans today. At Legends of Black Excellence, we're taking you inside the most shocking and unforgettable passings that forever changed the cultural landscape. Stay tuned, because some of these names will leave you speechless. Which one of these tragedies do you think hit the world the hardest? Erica Ashe. Erica Ashe was a rare talent who could effortlessly move between making audiences laugh and touching their hearts with deep, dramatic performances. Born on September 19, 1977 in Florida, she began her career not in acting, but as a model traveling internationally before realizing her true passion lay in entertainment. Her first big break came with the sketch comedy series Mad TV, where her sharp wit, spot-on impressions, and fearless comedic timing quickly made her a standout cast member. She didn't just imitate, she transformed into her characters, leaving viewers in stitches week after week. Transitioning into television drama, Erica took on the role of M. Chuck in Survivor's Remorse, portraying a confident, no-nonsense attorney who could deliver biting humor and heartfelt vulnerability in equal measure. Her work on Real Husbands of Hollywood opposite Kevin Hart showcased her comedic chemistry with seasoned performers, while In Contempt proved her ability to carry emotionally charged storylines as a passionate public defender. Erica's range wasn't just about switching genres, it was about depth. She approached each role with authenticity, refusing to let herself be boxed into one type of performance. Fans admired her for balancing fame with privacy, rarely sharing personal struggles. That privacy made her passing all the more shocking when on July 29, 2024, she died at the age of 46 after a battle with cancer that she had kept from the public. Her death was not just a loss of a gifted performer, but of a voice that could shift from satire to sincerity in the blink of an eye. Do you think her decision to keep her illness private made her final performances even more impactful? Erica Ashe's legacy lives on in the laughter she sparked, the stories she brought to life, and the example she set for aspiring actors to embrace every side of their craft without fear or limitation. Chance Perdomo. Chance Perdomo was a magnetic presence on screen, blending an intriguing mix of charm, intelligence, and emotional depth that made his characters unforgettable. Born on October 19, 1996 in Los Angeles, California, he moved to Southampton, England during childhood, giving him a unique transatlantic identity. This combination of American roots and British upbringing brought a distinctive cadence to his performances, making him stand out among his peers. His early career gained momentum with the BBC drama Killed by My Debt, where he delivered a raw, socially conscious performance that captured the realities of financial hardship for young people. However, it was his role as Ambrose Spellman in Netflix's Chilling Adventures of Sabrina that cemented his place in the industry. As the witty, centuries-old warlock under house arrest, Chance balanced mystery with humor, giving the supernatural series a character that fans deeply connected with. After Sabrina, he stepped into another genre-defining project, playing Andre Anderson in Gen Phi, the superhero spin-off of The Boys. His portrayal of a gifted young hero with magnetic powers and complex personal struggles proved his versatility and potential for leading roles. Critics and audiences alike recognized that Chance was on the cusp of a major breakout in Hollywood. Tragically, on March 29, 2024, Chance Perdomo's life was cut short at just 27 years old in a motorcycle accident. He had been enjoying the freedom of riding a pastime he loved when the unexpected happened, leaving fans, friends, and co-stars stunned. Do you believe Chance would have become one of the defining actors of his generation if he had lived longer? His passing is a sobering reminder of how fragile life is, especially for those whose artistry feels like it's only beginning to bloom. Chance's legacy remains in the roles that showcased his immense promise and the emotional honesty he brought to every scene. Chino XL born Derek Keith Barbosa on July 25, 1968 in the Bronx. New York was a lyrical force in hip-hop, an artist whose intricate wordplay and uncompromising delivery set him apart in an often formulaic industry. Of Puerto Rican and African-American heritage, he grew up immersed in the rhythms and struggles of urban life, developing a love for language that would define his career. Emerging in the early 1990s, Chino became known for his razor-sharp metaphors, dense rhyme schemes, and fearless subject matter. His debut album, Here to Save You All, 1996, showcased not only technical brilliance, but also a willingness to address personal pain, mental health, and societal issues without flinching. Though he was respected in underground and mainstream circles, Chino XL also gained notoriety for his high-profile feud with Tupac Shakur, a lyrical battle that, while heated further, proved his skill in standing toe-to-toe with rap's most formidable figures. Yet beyond the controversies, his artistry remained his calling card. Songs like No Complex and Creep displayed his ability to weave vivid imagery into music that resonated deeply with those facing their own hardships. He worked with a wide range of artists, never compromising his style for commercial trends. Behind the scenes, however, Chino was quietly battling personal demons. On July 28, 2024, at age 55, he was found dead in his home, with reports confirming his death as suicide by hanging. The news shocked fans who saw him as resilient, a reminder that mental health struggles can be invisible even in those who seem unshakable. Do you think the music industry does enough to support the mental well-being of its artists? Chino XL's legacy is that of a poet warrior, a rapper who valued lyrical integrity above fame, leaving behind a body of work that continues to inspire hip-hop purists and aspiring MCs alike. Mandisa Lynn Hundley, known to millions simply as Mandisa, was a powerhouse vocalist whose music radiated hope and encouragement. Born on October 2, 1976, in Citrus Heights, California, she grew up immersed in church life where her voice quickly stood out in the choir. Her national breakthrough came in 2006 on Season 5 of American Idol, where her commanding range and warm personality made her a fan favorite. Although she placed 9th, Mandisa leveraged the platform to launch a remarkable career in contemporary Christian music. Her debut album, True Beauty 2007, debuted at #1 on Billboard's Top Christian Albums chart, setting the tone for a string of successful releases. Songs like Overcomer Stronger and Good Morning became anthems for perseverance, faith, and positivity, resonating deeply with listeners facing personal struggles. In 2014, Overcomer earned her a Grammy Award for Best Contemporary Christian Music Album, cementing her as one of the genre's most influential voices. Known for her openness about faith, she often shared her own battles with depression, body image, and forgiveness, making her music not just uplifting, but relatable. Tragically, on April 18, 2024, Mandisa was found dead in her Nashville home at just 47 years old. The cause was determined to be complications from Class 3 obesity, the most severe category of the condition. Her passing shocked the Christian music community and fans worldwide, many of whom had leaned on her songs during their darkest times. Do you think Mandisa's transparency about her struggles made her music even more powerful? Her legacy lives on in the countless people she inspired to find strength in faith and in themselves. Mandisa's voice may be gone, but her message of resilience and grace continues to lift hearts around the world. Aaliyah Dana Houghton was more than a singer. She was a cultural icon who blended elegance, mystery, and innovation into everything she touched. Born on January 16, 1979, in Brooklyn, New York, and raised in Detroit, Michigan, she began performing at an early age, winning audiences over with a natural poise beyond her years. At just 15, she released her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number 1994, produced by R. Kelly, which introduced her silky, emotive voice through hits like Back and Forth and At Your Best, You Are Love. Her second album, One in a Million, 1996, produced by Timbaland and Missy Elliott, redefined R&B with futuristic beats and Aaliyah's smooth, understated delivery. Tracks such as If Your Girl Only Knew and the title song showcased a sound that would influence the genre for decades. Beyond music, she ventured into acting, starring in Romeo Must Die 2000 alongside Jet Li and earning praise for her natural screen presence. She was also cast in the Matrix sequels, signaling a promising Hollywood career ahead. Her fashion sense, baggy pants, crop tops, and that signature hairstyle covering one eye set trends embraced by fans worldwide. On August 25, 2001, tragedy struck when Aaliyah died in a plane crash in the Bahamas at just 22 years old. She had just finished filming the music video for Rock the Boat. Investigations revealed the aircraft was overloaded and piloted by someone not certified for that type of plane. Do you think Aaliyah would have dominated both music and film had she lived longer? Her loss left a permanent void in R&B and pop culture. Even today, her influence can be heard in the music of countless artists who cite her as an inspiration, keeping her legacy alive as the princess of R&B. Lloyd Avery. Lloyd Avery II was a talented actor whose life and career were marked by both promise and tragedy. Born on June 21, 1969 in Los Angeles, California, he grew up in the Baldwin Hills area, often called the Black Beverly Hills. Surrounded by a supportive middle-class family, Lloyd discovered a love for acting in his youth. His first major break came with John Singleton's landmark 1991 film, Boys and the Hood, where he played the memorable role of Knucklehead No. 2, one of the gang members responsible for the fatal shooting of Ricky, a scene that became one of the most shocking moments in 90s cinema. He went on to appear in films such as Poetic Justice 1993 alongside Janet Jackson and Tupac Shakur, carving a niche for himself as a convincing, street-tough character actor. His intensity on screen was magnetic, but off-screen, Avery's life began to mirror some of the dangerous roles he played. By the late 1990s, he had become involved in gang-related activity and found himself facing serious legal trouble. In 2001, he was convicted of double murder for the fatal shooting of two people in 1999, receiving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Prison life proved perilous for Lloyd. On September 4, 2005, while serving his sentence at Pelican Bay State Prison, he was found dead in his cell. Authorities determined he had been beaten and strangled by his cellmate during what was reported as a racially motivated attack. He was just 36 years old. Do you think Lloyd's life could have taken a different path if he had distanced himself from the street lifestyle after his early success? His story serves as a sobering reminder of how quickly opportunity can be overshadowed by destructive choices, leaving behind a legacy of both cinematic impact and unrealized potential. Tupac Shakur. Tupac Amaru Shakur was more than just a rapper. He was a cultural force whose artistry, activism, and charisma made him one of the most influential figures in music history. Born on June 16, 1971 in East Harlem, New York, Tupac was named after an Incan revolutionary, a fitting tribute given his mother Afeni Shakur was a former Black Panther. This political and socially conscious upbringing shaped his perspective and would later infuse his lyrics with both urgency and empathy. Tupac began his entertainment career as a backup dancer and MC for Digital Underground, before stepping into the spotlight with his 1991 debut album, Tupacalypse Now. The record's raw commentary on police brutality, poverty, and systemic injustice drew both acclaim and controversy. Over the next few years, albums like Strictly for My Nige Gaze, Me Against the World, and All Eyes on Me solidified his status as a lyrical powerhouse. Tracks such as Dear Mama revealed his vulnerable side, while Hit 'Em Up showed his unflinching ferocity in the midst of the East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry. Tupac was also a gifted actor, delivering compelling performances in films like Juice, 1992, Poetic Justice, 1993, and Above the Rim, 1994. But his growing fame was shadowed by legal troubles, public feuds, and a highly publicized conflict with the notorious B.I.G., which intensified hip-hop's most dangerous rivalry. On September 7, 1996, while in Las Vegas for a Mike Tyson fight, Tupac was shot 4 times in a drive-by shooting while riding with Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight. He died 6 days later on September 13th at just 25 years old. The murder remains officially unsolved. Do you believe Tupac's death was the result of the East Coast-West Coast feud? Or was there more behind it? Even decades later, his music, poetry, and message continue to inspire new generations, keeping his legacy alive as one of hip-hop's most enduring voices. Young Dolph. Young Dolph, born Adolph Robert Thornton Jr. on July 27, 1985 in Chicago, Illinois, but raised in Memphis, Tennessee, built his career on authenticity, independence, and an unshakable connection to his roots. Moving to Memphis at just 2 years old, he grew up in a challenging environment that shaped both his worldview and his music. His early mixtapes in the late 2000s, such as Paper Route Campaign, caught the attention of Southern hip-hop fans with their gritty storytelling and unapologetic tone. Refusing to sign with a major label, Dolph founded Paper Route Empire, controlling his music image and business decisions, a rare move in the rap industry. His breakthrough came with the 2016 album King of Memphis, followed by Bulletproof Role Model and Rich Slave. His deep, commanding voice and straightforward delivery resonated with listeners who valued realness over gimmicks. He rapped about hustle, loyalty, and self-reliance, often referencing his own rise from poverty to financial success, without abandoning his hometown. Despite success, Dolph's life wasn't without danger. He survived multiple shootings, including a 2017 incident in Los Angeles, where he was hit several times but recovered. Still, he continued to visit Memphis regularly, giving back to the community through charity events, donations to schools, and mentorship programs for young people. On November 17, 2021, while stopping at Makeda's homemade butter cookies in Memphis, a favorite spot where he often bought treats for his mother Dolph, was shot and killed by 2 gunmen. He was 36 years old. The murder shocked the hip-hop world and left Memphis mourning one of its proudest hometown figures. Do you think young Dolph's commitment to staying independent and connected to Memphis made him more vulnerable to danger? His legacy endures not just in his music, but in his unwavering dedication to owning his craft and uplifting his community. Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle, born Ermias Joseph Askedom on August 15, 1985 in Los Angeles, California, was more than a rapper. He was an entrepreneur, community activist, and visionary who saw music as a platform for empowerment. Growing up in the Crenshaw district, Nipsey was exposed to the struggles of gang violence and poverty from a young age. But instead of letting these challenges define him, he used them as fuel to inspire change. His early mixtapes, including the Bullets Ain't Got No Name series, told vivid, unfiltered stories of survival while promoting self-education, ownership, and economic independence. He gained national attention with The Marathon and Crenshaw, the latter famously selling 1,000 physical copies for $100 each, catching the eye of Jay-Z and demonstrating his unorthodox business savvy. In 2018, Nipsey released his debut studio album Victory Lap, which earned him a Grammy nomination and showcased his ability to blend street narratives with uplifting, forward-thinking messages. But Nipsey's influence extended beyond music. He reinvested in his neighborhood, opening businesses like the Marathon clothing store, launching STEM programs for local youth, and advocating for community development. His philosophy centered on ownership of property businesses and one's destiny, making him a respected figure both inside and outside hip-hop. On March 31, 2019, Nipsey Hussle was shot multiple times outside his store in South Los Angeles. He was just 33 years old. The killing, later ruled a targeted attack by Eric Holder Jr., left the music world and his community in shock, mourning not only a talented artist, but a leader dedicated to real change. Do you think Nipsey's community activism will inspire more artists to follow his path beyond music? His legacy is etched in the blueprint he left for self-empowerment, proving that success means little if it isn't used to uplift others. Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Aaron Boseman was an actor whose performances carried a rare combination of dignity, power, and emotional truth. Born on November 29, 1976, in Anderson, South Carolina, he grew up with a strong sense of purpose. After graduating from Howard University, where he studied under influential mentors like Felicia Rashad, he further honed his craft at the British American Drama Academy in Oxford. Initially pursuing directing and writing, Chadwick transitioned into acting, bringing depth and authenticity to every role he took. His early television work included appearances in Lincoln Heights' ER and Law and Order, but his breakthrough came with the 2013 film 42, where he portrayed baseball legend Jackie Robinson. His ability to channel Robinson's resilience and grace under pressure earned critical acclaim. He followed this with Get On Up 2014 as James Brown, capturing the godfather of soul's kinetic energy and complexity, and Marshall 2017 as a young Thurgood Marshall. In 2018, Chadwick became a global icon as King T'Challa in Marvel's Black Panther. The film broke box office records, earned multiple Oscars, and became a cultural milestone for Black representation in cinema. Chadwick embraced the responsibility of the role, visiting sick children, speaking on empowerment, and maintaining humility despite worldwide fame. Privately, he battled stage 3 colon cancer, diagnosed in 2016. Without revealing his illness to the public, he continued working through surgeries and chemotherapy, delivering some of his most memorable performances, including Day 5 Bloods 2020 and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom 2020. On August 28, 2020, he passed away at age 43, surrounded by family. Do you think Chadwick's choice to keep his illness private made his final performances even more impactful? His legacy is not only in the roles he played, but in the hope, pride, and inspiration he gave to millions worldwide, proving that true heroes exist both on and off screen. Rich Homie Quan born DeQuantes. Devontae Lamar, on October 4, 1989, in Atlanta, Georgia, rose from local mixtape buzz to become one of the most influential voices of Atlanta's melodic rap wave in the 2010s. Growing up on the city's south side, he originally dreamed of a baseball career playing varsity in high school, but shifted to music after setbacks ended his athletic ambitions. His early mixtapes, such as Still Going In, established his sing-rap style, blending street narratives with catchy emotional hooks that would later influence a generation of trap and melodic rappers. Quan's breakout came in 2013 with Type of Way, a swagger-filled anthem that climbed Billboard's Hot 100 and became a club staple nationwide. He followed with hits like Walk Through and Flex Ooh Ooh Ooh, further showcasing his knack for crafting infectious melodies over hard-hitting beats. As part of the Rich Gang Collective, alongside Young Thug and Birdman, Quan helped redefine Atlanta's hip-hop sound, pushing it toward more melodic, vulnerable territory while still keeping its street grit intact. Despite his success, Quan faced legal issues, label disputes, and periods away from the spotlight. Still, he maintained a loyal fan base drawn to his ability to balance boastful energy with heartfelt storytelling. Tragically, on September 5, 2024, Rich Homie Quan was found dead at his Atlanta home. The Fulton County Medical Examiner determined the cause to be an accidental drug overdose involving multiple substances. He was just 34 years old and still actively recording music. Do you think Quan's influence on Atlanta's melodic rap scene has been fully recognized by the industry? His death cut short a career that had already shaped the sound of modern hip-hop, leaving behind a legacy of hooks anthems and an undeniable imprint on the culture. DMX, born Earl Simmons on December 18, 1970 in Mount Vernon, New York, was one of hip-hop's most electrifying and emotionally raw performers. Raised in Yonkers, his childhood was marked by poverty abuse and time in group home struggles that shaped the pain and intensity in his music. He began his career in the underground rap scene during the early 90s, but his explosive debut album It's Dark and Hell is Hot 1998 catapulted him to superstardom. With hits like Rough Riders Anthem and Get At Me Dog, DMX brought a growling delivery and unfiltered honesty that set him apart from his peers. He followed up with a string of platinum albums including Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood 1998 and then there was X 1999 featuring the anthemic party Up Up in Here. Known for his ability to switch between aggressive street anthems and vulnerable prayers, DMX connected deeply with fans who saw him as both a warrior and a wounded soul. Beyond music, he made a mark in Hollywood with roles in Belly 1998, Romeo Must Die, 2000 and Cradle to the Grave, 2003, bringing the same intensity to acting as he did to rap. However, DMX's career was marred by a long battle with addiction, legal troubles, and health issues. Despite multiple rehab attempts and public efforts to overcome his demons, the cycle of relapse persisted. On April 2, 2021, he suffered a heart attack, reportedly triggered by a drug overdose, leading to a week in a coma. He passed away on April 9, 2021, at White Plains Hospital, aged 50, leaving behind 15 children. Do you think DMX's vulnerability about his struggles is part of what made him so beloved by fans? His legacy is one of unmatched passion, an artist who poured his truth into every verse, inspiring millions with both his ferocity and his faith. Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke. Born Samuel Cooke on January 22, 1931 in Clarksdale, Mississippi, was a pioneering voice in soul music, often called the King of Soul for his unmatched blend of gospel passion and pop accessibility. Raised in Chicago, he began singing in church as a child, later joining the famed gospel group the Soul Stirrers in the early 1950s. His smooth tenor, emotional delivery, and impeccable phrasing quickly made him a standout, drawing young audiences to gospel music in unprecedented numbers. In 1957, Sam crossed over to secular music, releasing You Send Me, which topped both the Billboard pop and R&B charts. Over the next few years, he produced a string of timeless hits: Cupid, Wonderful World, Chain Gang, Twistin' the Night Away, and Bring It On Home to Me, each blending sophistication with heartfelt emotion. Beyond his voice, Sam was a savvy businessman. At a time when few black artists had control over their work, he founded his own record label, Sayar Records, and a publishing company, setting a precedent for future generations to own their masters and publishing rights. Tragically, his life ended on December 11, 1964, under circumstances that remain controversial. He was shot and killed by Bertha Franklin, the manager of the Hacienda Motel in Los Angeles, who claimed self-defense after an altercation. Cooke was only 33 years old. Many have questioned the official account, suspecting that key details were left unexplained, fueling decades of speculation. Do you believe the true story of Sam Cooke's death will ever be fully revealed? Despite his short life, Sam Cooke's influence on music is immeasurable. He not only bridged gospel and pop, but also used his art to push for social change, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire artists worldwide. Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston, born on August 9, 1963 in Newark, New Jersey, was one of the greatest vocalists in music history, blessed with a voice that combined power, clarity, and emotional depth. Raised in a musical family, her mother, Cissy Houston, was a gospel legend, and cousins Dionne Warwick and Dee Dee Warwick were acclaimed singers. Whitney began performing in church as a child. By her teens, she was modeling and singing background vocals, but her destiny as a solo star became clear when she signed with Arista Records in 1983 under the guidance of Clive Davis. Her self-titled debut album, released in 1985, produced 3 number-1 singles and made her an international sensation. Over the next decade, she redefined pop and R&B with hits like I Wanna Dance with Somebody, Greatest Love of All, and her record-breaking rendition of I Will Always Love You, which spent 14 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. She sold over 200 million records worldwide, won 6 Grammy Awards, and starred in successful films, most notably The Bodyguard 1992, which became a cultural phenomenon. However, Whitney's life offstage was turbulent. Her marriage to Bobby Brown was marked by public scandals, substance abuse, and personal struggles. Years of drug use began to affect her once flawless voice, and her career faced setbacks in the 2000s. Despite efforts at a comeback, her battles persisted. On February 11, 2012, just one day before the Grammy Awards, Whitney was found unresponsive in the bathtub of her Beverly Hilton hotel suite. The coroner ruled her death as accidental drowning, with heart disease and cocaine use as contributing factors. She was only 48 years old. Do you think Whitney could have reclaimed her career had she overcome her addictions? Her unmatched vocal legacy and influence on generations of artists remain intact, cementing her as the voice and one of the most important figures in modern music history. Jam Master Jay. Jam Master. Jay born Jason William Mizell on January 21, 1965 in Brooklyn, New York, was the rhythmic backbone of one of hip-hop's most influential groups, Run DMC. Growing up in Hollis, Queens, Jay developed his skills as a DJ in his early teens, mastering turntables and blending genres with a precision that would help redefine rap music in the 1980s. When he joined forces with Joseph Run Simmons and Daryl DMC McDaniels in 1982, their chemistry was undeniable. Run DMC broke barriers, becoming the first rap group to earn a gold album, Run DMC 1984, and a platinum album, King of Rock 1985. Their groundbreaking collaboration with Aerosmith on Walk This Way 1986 brought rap into the mainstream, bridging the gap between hip-hop and rock. Jay's scratching, mixing, and stage presence were essential to the group's identity, elevating the role of the DJ from background support to a central creative force. Outside of performing, Jay was passionate about mentoring young talent. He founded the Scratch DJ Academy in New York City to teach turntablism to a new generation and supported emerging artists within his community. His influence extended beyond music. He was a cultural figure who represented both the artistry and the entrepreneurial spirit of hip-hop. Tragically, on October 30, 2002, Jam Master Jay was shot and killed in his Queens recording studio at the age of 37. The murder shocked the music world and remained unsolved for nearly 2 decades. In 2020, federal prosecutors charged 2 men alleging the killing was linked to a drug dispute. Do you think the long delay in solving Jay's murder reflects deeper issues in how high-profile cases are handled? Jam Master Jay's legacy lives on in every DJ who commands the stage and in the enduring beats of Run DMC that continue to shape hip-hop culture. Bobby Christina Brown. Bobby Christina Brown, born March 4, 1993 in Livingston, New Jersey, was the only child of music legends Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown. From the moment she was born, she was in the spotlight, attending award shows, appearing on red carpets, and even performing alongside her mother on occasion. Growing up in such a high-profile family brought both privilege and intense public scrutiny. Bobby Christina showed an early interest in music and acting, appearing in reality shows like Being Bobby Brown and later The Houstons on Our Own, which documented her life after her mother's passing. Her relationship with her mother was exceptionally close, and Whitney often spoke about her hopes for Bobby Christina's future. However, she also inherited the challenges that came with her parents' turbulent marriage and struggles with substance abuse. Whitney's death in February 2012 devastated her. Bobby Christina was just 19 years old and reportedly struggled to cope with the sudden loss. Her increasingly erratic behavior and reported drug use drew media attention, and her personal life, including a controversial relationship with Nick Gordon, became tabloid fodder. On January 31, 2015, Bobby Christina was found unresponsive in a bathtub at her home in Georgia, an eerie echo of the circumstances of her mother's death. She was placed in a medically induced coma and never regained consciousness. After 6 months of hospitalization and hospice care, she passed away on July 26, 2015 at just 22 years old. The official cause was pneumonia complicated by drug intoxication and water immersion. Do you think Bobby Christina ever truly had a chance to live a life outside her parents' shadow? Her short life remains a cautionary tale about the pressures of fame, the lingering trauma of loss, and the tragic repetition of history that claimed both her and her mother in hauntingly similar ways. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye. Born Marvin Pence Gaye Jr. on April 2, 1939 in Washington, D.C., was one of Motown's brightest stars and a visionary who transformed soul music into a vehicle for social commentary and emotional depth. Raised in a strict religious household, he began singing in church before joining the doo-wop group The Moonglows in the late 1950s. His big break came when he signed with Motown Records, where his smooth, expressive voice quickly made him a standout. In the 1960s, Marvin delivered a string of romantic hits such as How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You Ain't That Peculiar and unforgettable duets with Tammy Terrell like Ain't No Mountain High Enough and You're All I Need to Get By. But the early 1970s marked a turning point. Marvin took creative control and released What's Going On 1971. A groundbreaking concept album tackling war, poverty, racism, and environmental concerns. Initially rejected by Motown executives for being too political, it went on to become one of the most acclaimed albums in music history. Despite his artistic triumphs, Marvin's personal life was turbulent. He battled depression, substance abuse, and financial troubles, while his relationships were often volatile. His connection with his father, Marvin Gaye Sr., was particularly strained due to years of conflict and the elder Gaye's strict, often abusive discipline. On April 1, 1984, just one day before his 45th birthday, Marvin was shot and killed by his father during a heated argument at their Los Angeles home. The shocking act cut short the life of an artist who had given the world timeless music and a voice for social change. Do you believe Marvin's personal struggles influenced the raw honesty in his music? His legacy endures as that of a soul pioneer whose songs continue to inspire comfort and challenge listeners decades after his passing. Black Rob. Black Rob, born Robert Ross on June 16, 1969 in Buffalo, New York, was a gritty storyteller whose deep, raspy voice and streetwise lyricism made him one of the most distinctive rappers of the late 90s and early 2000s. Raised in East Harlem, he experienced firsthand the challenges of inner-city life, using music as a way to narrate the raw realities he saw around him. After years of honing his craft, he caught the attention of Sean Puffy Combs and signed with Bad Boy Records, a label already home to icons like the Notorious B.I.G. and Mace. His breakout came in 2000 with the single Whoa, a hard-hitting anthem with vivid wordplay that became a hip-hop classic. The track propelled his debut album Life Story to platinum status, solidifying his place in the rap scene. Known for his ability to depict street life without glorifying it, Black Rob's music balanced grit with authenticity, earning him respect from peers and fans alike. However, his career faced interruptions due to legal troubles and health challenges. In the 2010s, Black Rob revealed he was battling kidney disease requiring regular dialysis. Financial hardship compounded his health struggles, and fellow artists often stepped in to provide assistance. Despite these challenges, he continued to record and perform, releasing projects like Genuine Article and Game-Tested Streets Approved, which showcased his resilience and dedication to the craft. On April 17, 2021, Black Rob died from cardiac arrest related to kidney disease at the age of 51. His passing just days after publicly paying tribute to DMX from a hospital bed shocked the hip-hop community and underscored the toll that years of hard living and health struggles had taken. Do you think Black Rob ever received the recognition he truly deserved for his contributions to hip-hop? His voice and storytelling remain etched in rap history, a reminder of an artist who brought the streets to life with uncompromising honesty. The Notorious B.I.G. The Notorious B.I.G. Born Christopher George Latore Wallace on May 21, 1972 in Brooklyn, New York, rose from the streets of Bedford-Stuyvesant to become one of the most celebrated rappers in history. Growing up in a single-parent household, Biggie excelled academically, but gravitated toward hustling in his teenage years, experiences that would later form the backbone of his storytelling. His demo tape caught the ear of Sean Puffy Combs, leading to a contract with Bad Boy Records and the release of his debut album Ready to Die in 1994. With his deep, smooth flow and masterful wordplay, Biggie painted cinematic portraits of street life on tracks like Juicy Big Papa and Warning. His ability to balance hardcore narratives with radio-friendly hooks set a new standard in hip-hop. By the mid-1990s, he was at the forefront of the East Coast rap resurgence, but his friendship-turned-rivalry with Tupac Shakur became a central flashpoint in the deadly East Coast-West Coast feud. In 1997, Biggie was preparing for the release of his highly anticipated second album, Life After Death, when tragedy struck. On March 9, 1997, after leaving a music industry party at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, his SUV was approached by another vehicle. A gunman opened fire, hitting Biggie multiple times. He was pronounced dead shortly after at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, just 24 years old. The murder remains officially unsolved, fueling decades of speculation and conspiracy theories. Do you think Biggie's death could have been prevented if the East Coast-West Coast tensions had been diffused earlier? His influence on rap is immeasurable. Life After Death debuted at #1 just weeks after his passing, and his legacy as one of hip-hop's greatest lyricists continues to inspire generations of artists worldwide. Kyrie Jackson. Kyrie Jackson was a young athlete whose journey to the NFL was defined by resilience, adaptability, and sheer determination. Born on December 12, 2001 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, he initially dreamed of a basketball career playing the sport through high school. However, after a late shift in focus, he transitioned to football, a decision that would change the course of his life. Jackson's path to the pros was far from typical. He began at Fort Scott Community College in Kansas, later transferring to East Mississippi Community College, and eventually landing at the University of Alabama. Competing for the Crimson Tide, one of the most elite programs in college football, he showcased his skills as a physical and versatile defensive back. Seeking more playing time and development, he transferred to the University of Oregon for his final season, where his performances caught the attention of NFL scouts. In the 2024 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings selected him in the 4th round, a testament to his hard work and perseverance. Coaches praised his adaptability, work ethic, and quick learning in training camp, and he was expected to compete for immediate playing time as a rookie. Tragically, on July 6, 2024, just months after achieving his NFL dream, Kyrie was killed in a car crash in Prince George's County, Maryland, along with 2 former high school teammates. He was only 23 years old. His sudden passing left the Vikings organization, former teammates, and fans mourning not just a promising player, but a young man whose best years on and off the field were still ahead. Do you think Kyrie's unconventional path to the NFL made his story even more inspiring? His legacy is one of determination against the odds, a reminder that success can be achieved through perseverance even when the road is far from straightforward. The lives and legacies of these 20 remarkable black actors remind us how fragile greatness can be. From cultural icons like Whitney Houston and Tupac Shakur to rising stars like Chance Perdomo and Kyrie Jackson, each story carries triumph, tragedy, and lessons that echo beyond their time. Some were taken by violence, others by illness or personal battles, but all left an indelible mark on music, film, and culture. At Legends of Black Excellence, we honor their brilliance while reflecting on the questions their lives leave behind. Which of these untimely losses do you believe changed the entertainment world the most?